Okay, today's show is going to be fun. We're going to visit the oldest continuously running dim sum parlor in Manhattan, USA. Probably the oldest one in the country. Dates back to the 1920s. That's right. Nom Wah Tea Parlor on epic Doyers St in Manhattan's Chinatown. Now, people have been writing off New York City's Chinatown saying, oh, everything's better in Queens. Well, Flushing is amazing. It's true. Sunset Park, Brooklyn, absolutely. But to think you can't come to New York City, Chinatown, in Manhattan and eat good food's a myth. So Tang, the current owner of Nom Wah, is somebody who's had it for like 50 years. We're going to talk about dim sum, why their place is so good, and then do a little tour of the hood, of little spots he loves, new spots, old stuff, hole in the wall, and end up at Fung Tu, one of my favorite spots. It's kind of meshing together two neighborhoods and two cuisines. It's Chinese on the menu today and dim sum for the most part.
I'm Mike Calamecco, industry insider. Been in the business my whole life, and I know what it takes to succeed. Each week we'll take you into real kitchens, filmed in real time. Backstage passes to a day in the life of chefs, restaurateurs, and their teams. The competition's fierce. Careers, life savings, and reputations hang in the balance. These are my people, and this is their passion. And that's what's next on Mike Calamecco's Real Food.
Mike Calamecco's Real Food is brought to you by the continuous, generous support of the following underwriters.
Extra virgin olive oil from Colavita, an Italian family brand.
Rachel Ray's signature specialty food line, designed for preparing meals at home.
Wilson, thanks for having us in today.
Pleasure.
Brief history of this restaurant.
This restaurant has been here since 1920. It was originally run by the Choi family, and then in 1950, my uncle started working here from the bottom. In 1974, he bought the business and the building from the Choi family. He spent the majority of his life here.
Yeah.
You know, started working here at 16, you know, all the way to in his 80s, when he finally decided, hey, you know, I should move on and enjoy the retired life. And that's when I stepped in. We kind of relaunched the restaurant in 2011.
The last thing I think your parents wanted you to do, probably, I'm guessing, was to come into this business. Because you went to school, you played by the rules, you're a smart kid, you could have done a million things, and you did. Went to school, got a degree, worked in finance.
Yeah, this was the last thing they wanted me to do. We grew up in Chinatown, and the last thing my dad wanted was me to hang around in a restaurant. That's not what he wanted, you know, and I still remember to this day the conversation that we had. He's like, oh, why are you doing this? It's such a hard job. The margins are slim, it's long hours, which they still are.
Check the box.
Yeah.
All true.
And you know, you could have just had a job somewhere and, you know, work your 40 hours a week.
Right, and go out to dinner
yeah.
and have your weekends off.
Yeah, and then, you know, buy a house, white picket fence, you know, all that stuff, you know, and you know, it was hard because that's not what my heart was telling me to do. You know, I'm this forward-facing person. I love talking to people. I love hospitality. I love food, you know, and I thought running a restaurant is kind of in my bloodline. We're making a pork and shrimp shumai. In this meat mixture is pork, there's shrimp, there's mushroom, and our marinade. It's got a little sesame oil in it, and we take a skin, we push the filling inside the skin and just give it a real good squeeze, and you kind of use the butter knife and kind of roll up the top of it so it's flat.
One by one.
One by one, you know. These guys can do, you know, about 200 in an hour.
I mean, it's kind of unique, I think, to Chinese cuisine, Cantonese, Shanghai, this mix of pork and seafood. Like the soup dumpling with crab.
Yes,
and
yeah.
this is so cool. Like, why didn't other cultures latch onto this, or why do you think the Chinese did?
I think it's just because Canton it's closer by the sea, and there's a lot of the seafood element mixed into the proteins. This is our vegetarian mix. This is celery, carrots, mushrooms, bamboo shoots, water chestnuts.
So it can be a vegetarian standalone or a base for other things to be served
Yeah,
in?
so this would be a base for the vegetarian base, and then we would add in chicken for an egg roll.
Makes sense.
So what we're making here is our vegetarian bean curd skin roll.
Do you find now, as a restaurateur guy, you're getting more? I just see there's so many more kids that are vegan, vegetarian.
These days, we get more gluten-free folks than
vegan.
vegetarian. We actually try to cater to those people as well, depending on what their tolerances are. We have gluten-free soy sauce in the dining room. You know, a lot of stuff that we make doesn't have any soy products in it. A lot of our handmade rice rolls are gluten-free.
Now, all around America, people know what dim sum is, but was this the first?
We are one of the first restaurants in Chinatown that is still standing today. A lot of them are no longer in business or has turned into something else.
And dim sum, just so we can kind of define it, not that people don't know what it is, but we know the origins, it's Cantonese. The idea was this sort of Silk Road tea parlor. You can come in, eat these small dishes, drink tea, and make it interesting.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was, thousands of years ago, people traveling along the Silk Road, and they would stop off on the side of the road to have little snacks, which is what dim sum really is. In literal terms, the word dim sum is a touch of heart, and that basically means it takes a lot of love and care to make this. Some of our dim sum chefs have been doing this 10, 20 years. Like my head chef, 30 years in the business.
His first job in America, Wilson helped sponsor 6 years in this country, been working in this kitchen since then. A career in China. I mean, we are blessed to have these guys.
We're gonna make a turnip cake and XO sauce over a wok. So this is our XO sauce. There's some pork in it. There's some dry scallops, and there's a little bit of mushroom in it, and it's just a mix of spices like salt, pepper, you name it, it's in here. So the turnip cubes just came out of the fryer. Now the chef is getting the wok ready to wok fire these things. A little bit of our XO mixture goes in first.
So we saute's that first.
Right.
That's the first. A little water to loosen it up a little bit.
Right. We add in a little mixed peppers, green and red peppers. Let that cook a little bit.
Now he's got the base cooked where he likes it. That's the other thing I've always admired as a Western chef, the efficiency of wok cooking.
Yeah,
it's genius.
And that's ready to go.
It looks delicious. I mean, that's the thing with this food, just viscerally as it comes out. And I think that's the other seduction of like dim sum the other way, the traditional ways. As the cards come around, you just go, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have a restaurant that's kind of like an American diner setting. We have booths, we have tables. I wanted to do everything like a diner, like have a menu with pictures and you kind of pick off what you want and you fill in a sheet and we punch it into the computer and it gets sent in the kitchen and we make it on the spot.
Like an a la carte restaurant.
That just improves our food costs. It makes things come out very hot. It's just a better use of real estate. This is our original egg roll. It's basically that same mixture that we had before, the vegetable mixture. You add a little chicken into it, and it's rolled into a real egg crepe. So the egg crepe is pre-made every morning in a 9-inch skillet, just beaten eggs.
Right.
And once that skin is made, we wrap the chicken and vegetable filling into it. This is one of our most popular items. It's an item that my uncle Wally kind of started doing. I named this the original egg roll.
Right.
Because it's really made with an egg skin. Hence the word
literally.
egg roll.
Right.
So we call this the original. Best seller in here. That's sticky rice with Chinese sausage.
That's so tasty.
I had this idea of all-day dim sum, and dim sum typically, in the traditional sense, it's breakfast, lunch, brunch. While I was growing up, those Sunday morning dim sum affairs with the parents and the family, going out to Chinatown, waiting online, it's chaotic, you know.
Golden unicorn. I mean, to this day, on a weekend, forget about it.
Yeah, you're going into this big,
huge hall.
Yeah, big, gigantic place. Ladies are pushing the carts all over, and it's kind of like a riot, you know. There's so many.
It is like a riot.
There's so many pieces going on, and that was one of the things I hated doing on as a child, And here was my opportunity here at Nom Wah. I'm like, I'm not just gonna do breakfast, lunch, and brunch. It's good for dinner. And I had this whole mindset of dim sum for dinner. Like that was my campaign to start. I thought this stuff, you know, you have a beer, a couple of beers, have some dumplings, and you go start your night, you know, and that was the main draw and attraction for me, was to kind of transform this breakfast, lunch, brunch thing into a all-day thing.
This is your typical pai guat, or steamed spare ribs.
There we go.
That's our beef dumpling soup with veggies.
There's been a great food trend since like 2007, 2008. It was just small plates. I'm almost getting tired of reading reviews of restaurants in the Wednesday Times about some guy in Brooklyn or some guy who's doing a small plate-driven menu. But it's kind of how people like to eat now.
That's how our dining public is now. You know, they don't want the, you know, app main dessert. You know, and they want to have a just vast amount of things on the plate, on the table to share.
This is our steamed dim sum platter. So we have a mix of it: vegetable, scallop, shrimp, pork shumai, shrimp shumai, dry scallop shumai, taro dumpling. That is tofu skin roll with a steamed tofu skin roll with pork. This is our pan-fried noodle with superior sauce. Superior sauce is our special high-grade soy sauce. This is just a ladle of rice flour mixture, rice flour and oil, onto a handkerchief. And then you'll put the raw shrimp on top.
Lines them up, puts the lid back down, and turns the heat up.
And then let that cook through. And then when it's cooked through, you take the entire handkerchief, lay it down on a table, and scrape it off. Cut, and then that's your item.
That's so cool. Big Daddy, what do we have? The classic.
Oh, this is a big item. Our famous pork buns, steamed pork buns.
So for those of you, the uninitiated, that don't know this dish, all over Chinatown, I love it. Salt and pepper shrimp, salt and pepper squid. With the squid, they use dry squid, and it's like crisp fried coated, head, tail, skin, shells, everything's there. And I have seen so many people get this to the table and they peel it. I'm like, dude, the point of the thing is to eat it. So, you eat the head, the tail. Oh my God.
So easy.
So easy, it's so good.
Yeah. Very good.
This street is so epic.
Yeah, a lot of history on this street. We're talking about Pell, Mott, and Doyers was where Chinatown in New York City of Manhattan started. In the late 1800s, early 1900s, there was a lot of gang violence between rival Chinese gangs. This is where rival gangs, as the story is told, would meet in the middle where there's this weird bend and kind of kill each other and run away. And, you know, a lot of bad stuff happened on this block. They say it's the most murders on this block than in any other block in the U.S. Yeah.
Right.
I think just this block has this great backdrop. You know, like if you were to look at from the corner of the street at Pell and you just look up, it's almost like a movie set.
You were born and raised here. And, you know, there's been all this talk of like the demise of Chinatown. Let's hit some spots. Let's take a walk.
Awesome. Let's go. So this is the extension of Doyers.
Another one-way, super narrow.
Yeah.
That guy's double parked over here.
Yeah.
It's hard to get through.
Yeah, it's picturesque. It's got all the like flags, and it looks very much like Hong Kong. You know, like all the cool awnings sticking out. We have a Me Some Cafe here. Has been here for over 50 years.
Like Chinese novelties in there. It's like tchotchkes and.
Yeah. It's like a gift shop. You know, family run and owned. Has been here since the turn of the century, called Tang's. I still remember coming here as a little kid. Yeah, like just buying like stupid little
random action figures and stuff.
Yeah,
the guys
like crap.
Yeah, we can never get enough. I still can't get enough of that. You kidding me?
We're walking up to one of the newer establishments in Chinatown called Juicy Spot. They do a Thai-inspired ice cream where they put the cream onto like a nitrogen-run plate that kind of makes it really cold, and it makes them into like these Thai ice cream rolls. Have you seen this before?
No. I'm
Really?
loving it. No, I'm loving it. It's like done. It's perfect.
We're gonna keep walking down Mott to one of my favorite little hole-in-the-wall restaurants in all of Chinatown called 69 Bayard.
You can come to this place with 5 people, spend $125 and not spend $125 and leave stuff.
I think here you're talking about like a $10, $15 per person spend, so
Right.
way under $100 with beers for the whole table.
Right, and eating and eating
Yeah,
and eating,
yeah,
and you walk
yeah.
out and you're like up to here. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the other thing with this neighborhood is there's just such value down here. It's
Yeah,
just overlooked.
a lot of value, and unfortunately, like these places are not common anymore. You know, it's there's not that many out there left. You know.
What's supposed to be about Chinatown is the shopping's off the hook. And like, you could say it's kind of hit or miss, but I'm a chef, I know what I'm looking for fish, and a lot of really good chefs use these markets, like name brand chefs shop at these markets.
Absolutely. It's almost kind of like a hidden gem, you know. A lot of fresh produce come into Chinatown first and then get diverted into Philly, Jersey, Connecticut. So the product that we have here is always fresh.
That's a big clam.
A majority of the purchases at Nom Wah we get at this market. Shrimp, vegetables,
That's crazy.
Fruit. These are the 2 main vegetables that we that we use.
Chinese broccoli, what do you call this?
This is yu choy. It's a mustard green. From the mustard green family.
Right.
And you know,
Like water spinach? What's this
yes,
called?
yeah.
I
water
love this stuff, man.
So this is
These hollow
all-
stems. Look how fresh
yeah.
that is.
Here at Ice and Vice, we do make everything in-house. Mix-ins, our dairy, our bases. When we first started, we got really tired of the ice cream scene. We don't like the traditional vanilla and chocolate, although we do have those items, but it's more of our take on those items. We do like to experiment with flavors a lot here.
All right, what flavors do you want to nibble on here, boys?
Look at this. This is basically inspired by a jelly donut.
Mike, this is for you.
There you go.
What we have here is called Food Drunk.
Cherry lemon lime ice cream with a bubblegum fudge.
Yep, it was inspired by Shirley Temple and bubblegum. That's 2 of Priya's favorite things.
Yeah. It's cool and it's orange and it's kind of like somewhere between sherbet and a creamsicle. Yeah. And what got you into ice cream? I mean, now you went to college and studied something legitimate and got a degree, and then what?
No, I mean, I actually used to work in finance, and I
So did Wilson. He was working for Morgan Stanley. He had like a real job.
I actually also used to work for Morgan Stanley. I did not know that he worked at Morgan Stanley, but I was there for quite some time. And you know, making ice cream was a hobby for me, and I really loved it. This one is called the Opium Den. It's a tahini-based ice cream with toasted poppy seed and lemon bread crouton. And this one is basically the answer to everyone's request for more textural ice cream. So it's pretty much all crunch here. Social media has really driven the traffic here to our location. And right now on our flavor board, because of that, realizing what our roots are and how we got our people here, we kind of decided to say a thank you to our you know, social media followers, and then also the Instagrammers that really support us. So right now we developed a theme. It's been running for about 3 weeks now. It's called Blogger Battle Royale.
Blogger Battle
Royale.
So it's these 5 heavy-duty food blogger Instagrammers who say, okay, which flavor's going to sell the most?
Exactly. So right now it is a bit of a competition for them as well. At the end of the 2 months, whichever blogger flavor does the best will be staying on our flavor board for the rest of the summer. We come up with flavors different ways. I mean, we're inspired by so many different things. I mean, we love fine dining here, and so we do study what's going on in the food trends in New York. We don't shy away from flavor. We don't shy away from anything here.
I love this spot.
We're not traditional.
This is so dangerous. This is so close to my apartment. This is so dangerous.
Well, we're Ice and Vice.
It's all right. We filmed at Fung Tu last year, and I think I'm on my radar because the food's great. I mean, I ate there a couple of times. I'm like, this guy Jonathan's amazing.
Yeah,
but as I remember,
fantastic.
you had some connection to this restaurant, or Jonathan or something.
Yeah, I met Jonathan about 3 or 4 years ago at a pop-up, and we basically like two separate people from two different worlds put us together, and to talk about this style of cuisine that he's doing.
Which is like this modern Chinese kind of American ingredient inspired. What was your version? How'd you two guys meet? Like, what brought this together?
I was looking for a partner. We have mutual friends in 2 different circles, and I think they were trying to get us together. Wilson came to one of those pop-up brunches. It was in Williamsburg.
A brunch too. So it's like
Chinese brunch.
Oh, so Chinese.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of those menu items made it onto the menu at Fung Tu. So we were doing steam buns, vegetable steam buns. Serve those here.
Yeah.
We were doing a fall squash salad. So it was roasted delicata squash, steamed kabocha with garlic chive oil, 1,000-year-old egg, dried aged bean curd. So the trio of garnishes made it onto salads at this restaurant.
Gotcha.
So yeah, a lot of that stuff, it was a way for me to start developing the food and to develop relationships. And so that's what happened. Wilson he's opened my eyes to lots of hidden gems in Chinatown. I mean, from the Soybeanery, which is on Division Street, 3 blocks from here, to Henry Street, where we get fresh chow fun, like literally coming off the rollers.
Fresh noodle.
Fresh noodles, wide rice
Like
noodles.
the broad noodle. Yeah.
And then there's Essex Market. I like to go up there and get Mexican chorizo. And then this is what happens. You get chow fun with chorizo.
Which is what brings us here today. Because you've got this really cool pedigree. You worked in all these great restaurants, including Per Se, blah, blah, blah. And you're kind of doing this like Chinese-inspired, I don't know what to call it, Chinese-inspired food, but you're using like really like local American ingredients and kind of mashing them up with a ton of technique.
I mean, yeah, there's technique involved, but I don't give a damn about technique unless it's in the service of flavor. If it's making the dish taste good, then I'm all for it. What I'm gonna serve for you is it's my take on the clam slice. So, my clam pizza, I like to have pork products. Pork and clams, that's something I always love. I had some clams in this morning, and I am just gonna warm them up.
So you sweated them open?
Yeah, I did. I sweated them open with some shallot and Amontillado sherry. Basically just reduce down the cooking liquid, the clam liquor, with some cream. And that's gonna be
That's what that is.
that's what this is, and that's gonna be our pizza sauce.
This is like chowder on a pizza.
Exactly.
I'm loving this. Scallion pancake becomes a clam pizza.
This is going to be absolutely delicious.
Our warmed up clams that got steamed. That's going to be the clam reduction with a little bit of heavy cream and olive oil.
Yep.
Rendered pancetta.
Boom. All right. All right.
Just dig in, boys.
Get in there.
Oh man. It's surprising. You can taste the sherry in the finished product. Which I didn't think was going to be true at all.
Real nuttiness.
We've been at it. We've been doing 12 hours. We're going to eat dinner in a couple of minutes. I don't eat dinner unless I've had something to get my stomach ready that involves alcohol. So what do you pick?
You're at the right place. We're gonna have the Baiju Bijou, which is number 2. Yeah,
Yes.
which is made with a very, very traditional Chinese liquor. Which is this guy.
How have I never heard about this?
In China, this stuff is at every table. Banquets, meetings, you name it. This is the national drink of China.
And I'm
Like,
guessing
straight.
that it's made out of rice because China, so you don't have corn, you don't have wheat, you
Yeah,
don't have rye.
it's made with rice.
So this is a Negroni strength riff on a classic. The classic is It's a bijou, so it's diamonds, emeralds, and rubies. Traditionally gin, sweet vermouth, and green chartreuse, respectively. And so we did a little play on it, and we used bijou and bonal, which is a gentian quina amaro, which is really awesome.
Yeah, gentian's that crazy stuff. I think that's used in sous in France too.
Exactly.
That stuff.
Exactly. And yellow chartreuse instead of green chartreuse.
And what's the proof on chartreuse?
So this is slightly less than green chartreuse.
Right, green's like
this is
brutal.
This is 40%.
So it's 80, so it's regular. Yeah,
Right.
green's like 120 or something, like
Right.
real heavy.
I want to say it might be 55%, maybe. The bijou itself is 43%, so it's slightly overproofed as well. This is served stirred and over ice.
Like exactly like a Negroni.
Bijou, it's always garnished with a maraschino cherry
Thinking that's what that
and a
is.
lemon twist. Bijou Bijou number 2. This is a much more drinkable version of the original Bijou Bijou. It's like martini strength. Cheers, gentlemen.
Wilson, thanks so much for the day, man.
Cheers.
Great day and continued success with the family business.
Yeah, can't wait for a dinner.
Me too. It's been a day. Mike Colomeco's Real Food is brought to you by the continuous, generous support of the following underwriters.
Extra virgin olive oil from Colavita, an Italian family brand.
Rachel Ray's signature specialty food line, designed for preparing meals at home.